Hey, Justice Warriors, I'm live. Let me fix the lighting while I'm waiting for people to come in. This side is too bright. I will remove some of the, see what I mean? I touch anything. I just like spilled my freaking smoothie. I'm not allowed to touch nothing. Okay. But yeah, there was way too much light on this side, although part of it could be my adjustment. So let me see. Yeah, I kind of have the light turned up right. Okay, yeah, it's not so bad. It's fine, I think. Maybe just a little tiny bit. I will break my rule and touch something. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put that over there. Okay. And hopefully people will come in. I haven't been live for a week. My braces have been killing me. I get them off in 6 days, you guys, 7 days. The last time I was on, I think, was the 4th of July. And I had just been to the dentist or the orthodontist, and they had said that they were going to take them off sooner than I thought. So it took it, I don't know. I can't keep track of it. I've been so excited. Anyway, I get them off in a week. So you guys can not have to hear me complain and apologize for my braces anymore. I do have the wax on tonight. Hopefully I have the right amount that it won't be ripping up my mouth and I can talk with you guys. But you can also understand what I'm saying. So let me just start out with my regular stuff. I've missed you guys so much. So thank you for watching. If you're on the replay crew or if you're coming in live, make sure you hit your like button. It's right there with the owie thumb. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you are subscribed, if you're not, please consider doing so. And share a video of mine with somebody that you think would like my channel. Turn on your notification bell to ring. I am wearing a blazer tonight, so like I'm all professional, like I told you guys I might be. And also I'm learning that I can hide my cleavage with my mic. So I'm going to utilize it for that because I can't stand looking at my cleavage. It's just my pet peeve. Anyway, there's a lot going on. Mitch McConnell is not okay. That photograph that they circulated yesterday was absolutely bullcrap. And I don't think it's just my opinion, although I'll say in my opinion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've watched a few videos about it that I will link in the description that really break it down. One guy, see, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to figure out if something is AI other than looking at it and he looks like he reverse aged 20 years and he just doesn't look like he's in a hospital. He looks like he's hanging out at a Christmas party or something. Not gonna happen. Everything about the narrative has been bullcrap. Sorry about that light going off and on. Hopefully it won't do that again. Yeah, it's a real insult to the intelligence of our citizens. And, we want to be able to believe the news. We want to be able to believe our government, but we know we can't. Anna Bees, how are you? What time is your thing in the morning? I don't know if you texted me back. I had sent you a question about that. Lovely to see you, my lady. Oh, the Mitch McConnell thing. Yeah, you and I have been texting about that. I want to go over the statement that he released because it is such utter crap. It so over explains everything. And it reminds me so much of the narrative from the Tyler Robinson case. And, this whole thing with the Tyler Robinson case having had pretrial last week, pretty sure it all wrapped up on Friday. Don Jr. was hanging out there at the pretrial. That to me is indicative that he's there to make sure that everybody behaves. What do you think, Annabese? I'll do my spiel real quick. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation, open up a discussion, learn something. All my videos are made for the two of you, and it's an infotainment platform. You can be dressed in street clothes in a rehab. Absolutely. My mother was in a rehab. She went into a skilled nursing facility, but initially she was in a rehab for like a month at the same skilled nursing facility that she then lived at for 10 years. And yeah, they do have chairs like that. I have had other people that I know at that same rehab, and they definitely don't look that perky when they're in rehab. Even a friend of mine who was extremely perky when she was in rehab, you're just kind of drugged down because you're having issues. Otherwise, you'd be at home, right? It's supposed to be getting stronger to go home. Right, exactly, right. And in my mom's situation, her home was the skilled nursing facility. She had been living independently, but that was what she wasn't well enough to be living independently, and that's what almost took her out. And then, but yeah, thanks for the guidance and the instruction. You're so good with your knowledge and your skills. And yeah, so I wanted to go over that. There's so much I want to talk about. I have so many freaking notes. I'm just so happy to be on, and I'm so happy to see you, my dear. Can you believe I get these MF things off a week from today? So I couldn't be happier. I had to go in today because one of the wires had come out yesterday, and it's just one thing after another. And it really is like having a mouthful of razor blades. Mitch looks way younger in the picture. I know. I put up a community post and said, good news, Mitch has recovered from his facelift surgery. Damn. Oh, and then let's talk about his wife too, that Elaine Chao. Not so many people talk about it on YouTube, but others do, and I'm so glad I'm not the only one. Talking about Angela Chao and when she passed away in that bizarre Tesla accident on her own property. I'm so sorry the light's doing that. So annoying. 2 years ago, February. So doesn't that kind of make more sense now in the landscape of like the whole thing with the Strait of Hormuz and shipping? The Chao family had a multi-billion-dollar shipping empire for decades that Elaine Chao had just become the CEO of. She was 50. I said Elaine Chao, Angela Chao. So that was the little sister. Elaine Chao was the older sister. There were 6 sisters in that family. And Mitch married Elaine. Angela had married somebody much older too, and then he had died in their first year of marriage. I think I wrote down the name. And then she remarried another extremely wealthy guy who actually was one of the folks who started Facebook. Let me give you his name too. It's some kind of crazy. It kind of seems like all of my conspiracy theories have been accurate. And I'm just like, I wish it wasn't true. I wish it wasn't. Seriously. Where did I write down the names? I think Angela Chao, first husband died, first year married. And I don't think I did write down his name actually, but the husband that she was married to at the time that she passed away, and I think she'd been married to Jim Breyer for 10 years, 12 years. And he's the guy who started Facebook, one of them with Zuck, obviously. But man, Zuck is in deep crap for some kitty stuff in India. Have you heard about that, Annabise? He's in deep crap. And again, it just seems like the crazy ideas that we had about him in Truckee with Kylie Rodney could be panning out. It's too much. It's all too much. I made a mistake. My surgery is next Tuesday, not tomorrow. Oh, I do that all the time. I literally like show up for appointments a week early or a day early. Fortunately, it's usually not a day late or a week late. Yeah, everything you have said has been proven true, Zuck. Yeah, so Zuckerberg is in huge ass trouble with India. He is allowing just weird rabbit hole stuff where you can start going down. I think it's like on Instagram where you can be purchasing things that are illegal to purchase. Like he's in deep shit. I'll just say it. Fuckerberg. Remember, that's his new name. So what was I going to be looking up? I was going to be looking up that Jim Breyer that Angela Chow was married to when she passed away. And so her passing away February of 2024, or so it was a year before the inauguration. Let's see. Jim Breyer, Angela Chow. Just so it knows which Jim Breyer. So she was the prominent executive and CEO of Foremost Shipping Group. And she was married to billionaire venture capitalist Jim Breyer. Sorry about that light. Jim Breyer's career and background. He is a highly successful American venture capitalist and the founder, CEO of Breyer Capital, headquartered in Austin, Texas. That's where the accident had happened, on their own property. And then, Big E had said that he can pretty much remote control any Tesla from his desk. He said that after some point after her passing. So he's best known for his time at Excel Partners, where he led the firm's early venture investment in Facebook. He has also been a major investor in major global tech companies such as Baidu and Spotify. Boards and ownership, family. So through his marriage to Angela Chow, Breyer became the brother-in-law of U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell and former U.S. Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao. And didn't Donnie, President Ponscom himself, appoint Elaine Chao his first term? And then Biden kept her on, I think. Breyer and Angela Chow shared a son prior to her passing. I think he was about 4 or 5 years old. Elaine Chao was I think she was the very first person in the government to go on the record up in arms over January 6th. I think she waited until January 7th, but President Ponscom pretty much had it in for her ever since. And he would call her crazy Chinese lady. And now it's really looking like she was probably a China spy plant. Doesn't seem like an authentic marriage, her and Mitch McConnell. So I hate to ever give President Ponscom credit, but a lot of times what he says is true. She is maybe crazy China lady. I mean, Gina, to say it like him. J.R. Nana Boomer, I saw you in someone's chat the other day, and I was like, woohoo, J.R. Nana Boomer. I don't know if you saw me tag you at the end, and I can't remember which chat it was. It was a pretty busy one. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm just scrolling through, had to stop in Annabie's. Hi, JR Nana. It's lovely to see you. And I just checked. The bell is rung. Oh, cool. Very cool. So yeah, the whole thing with Angela Chow, I think that needs to be more front and center. Just the way people drop like flies around President Ponscom when he first won the presidency in 2016, all these Russian people that worked for him on his campaign dropped like flies. I think it was like 22 altogether, but it started in November of 2024. You know, the election was November of 2024, and then it just kept going. And I'm going to Google that too. Russian employees of Donald J. Trump's who died after his first election that he won. It was so funny because, you know, the first answer is, oh, no, there's no documented records about anything that you're talking about. Oh, but here we go. Here's all their names. I'm not even going to try to pronounce these. I'll put a link to this in the description. And I'll just say the initials, or Sergei. I can say Sergei Kryov. Okay, there. I think I got that one. A senior Russian diplomat found deceased with unexplained head injuries at Russian consulate in New York on election day, November 8th, 2016. Police listed it as a case of closed natural causes. Beautiful. Oh, and we already know, like the police knew within the first 24 hours that there was no sign of foul play with Lindsey Graham. I almost said Mitch McConnell. Aren't they kind of like one and the same now? Okay. Andrei Karlov, the Russian ambassador to Turkey, assassinated in Ankara by a Turkish police officer in December of 2016. Peter Polishkov, a senior Russian foreign ministry official found shot deceased in his Moscow apartment, December 2016. Oleg Ironvikin, I'm doing pretty good with these Russian names. I just jinxed myself. A former KGB general who reportedly aided in compiling a dossier on DJT. He was found deceased in his car in Moscow, December 2016. So Ghislaine's father was KGB and the Mossad, right? And then Ivana's dad was, I forget the initials for basically the Israel KGB. No, sorry, not Israel. That's Mossad. The Czechoslovakian KGB. Okay, so then we have Alex Oronova. No, Alex Oronov. I'm just going to stop there. Naturalized American businessman with agricultural ties in Ukraine and family connections to Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, died March 2017 amid reports he was facilitating meetings to establish a Ukraine-Russia peace plan. Oh my goodness. 9 months, 9 prominent Russians deceased. But altogether, the number's getting close to 30. And I've gone over that in previous videos, like maybe this in the past 12 months. Probably going to be having to go over it again. Blonde red lipstick. Blonde red lipstick. Would that be Ivana? Pin message. I can't do red lipstick. I'm too pale. I wish I could. I think it looks really pretty on people, but I look like a freaking clown. And let's see. The orange did call her a China spy. Well, he always outs the truth. He's always telling on himself. Now, why would he appoint a China spy to be his, the director of transportation? Um, that's crazy. Or white hair. I'm not familiar with Angela Chow. So yeah, she died in this really bizarre car accident. I'll read you a little bit about it. On her own property. February 2024, Angela Chow was attending a gathering at her ranch in Johnson City, Texas, right outside of Austin. While attempting to execute a three-point turn, she accidentally shifted her Tesla Model X into reverse instead of drive, sending the vehicle over an embankment and submerging it in a nearby pond. She was literally moving her car from the guest house to the main house. She had some people over for wine. I think it was like 11:30, and she was going back to the main house or something. Just a small group of, I think, like girlfriends, like maybe 5 of them. She was trapped in, and they all watched this. She was trapped inside the sinking vehicle for over an hour, despite frantic rescue attempts by friends and emergency responders. A Blanco County Sheriff's Office investigation concluded the death was an unfortunate accident, and a subsequent toxicology report indicated that she was drunk. 0.23. And she was like calling her friends that she could see while she was in the car sinking in the water, and they were trying to figure out how to help her. I think the water was like 6 feet deep. It wasn't very deep at all. But then there was this weird thing where I don't know what was going on with the emergency crew, something weird, like, I don't know, intentional. They didn't arrive for 25 minutes because of this, that, and the other. And then when they got there, they couldn't do anything either because, they didn't have one of those breaky things that we all learned about in the Kylie Rodney case to break the effing window. And Teslas are so ingenious that they lock down when they're submerged. And, they also lock down when they're on fire because, Elon's so smart. I mean, it's really sick and scary. So her friends all watched her languish, and they did not get her out of the car for over an hour from the time it went in the water. So of course she was deceased. But it shouldn't have taken that long. It shouldn't have taken 25 minutes for the first responders to get there. There was some like big snafu. And it's just like, oh, really? There just happened to be some big snafu? What are the odds? Let's see. So that's Angela Chow. And then it was that same year? 2024, a couple of months later, when that big China barge ship crashed into the Baltimore Bridge. Remember? That was crazy. And that seemed like not an accident. And it was just like a month after that, I think. Let me look at the date. And I don't know if it was a foremost shipping vessel. Let's see. Shipping barge that crashed into Baltimore Bridge in spring of 2024. The cargo ship that crashed into Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge in the spring of 2024 was Dali, a 948-foot Singapore flagged container vessel on March 26, 2024, which is Melania's birthday. And I'm going to double check that, but I'm sure of it. No, actually, you know what? I'm glad I'm double checking it. I can't ever be sure of anything. Her birthday's a whole month later. I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Melania Trump, date of birth. April 26th, 1970. What did I just say the date of that other thing was? Why won't it go back there? Did I say April or did I say March? Now it won't even do what I'm trying to make it do. Ship that crashed into Baltimore Bridge in 2024. Okay, that was March. So her birthday is a whole month after. Because yeah, I initially had made that mistake and thought, why would that be something for her? Because last year, 2025, Virginia Giuffre passed away on March 25th, and then Melania's birthday was, I'm doing it again, screw me, April 25th. I'm going to double check myself. Virginia Giuffre date of death. And man, stop. Giuffre. I know how to spell her name, but this thing doesn't. So she died April 25th, 2025, and then Melania's birthday. Was that her 55th birthday was the very next day. But her passing away was very convenient for all of the information that Melania didn't want getting out in public, like how she met her husband, because Virginia was there. Melania and President Ponscom met roughly in 1998 was when they started to date officially. So we'll just go with that, 1998. And then it was like the year 2001, allegedly, when President Ponscom hired Virginia to work as a towel girl, which that's exactly what it sounds like, in my opinion. A towel girl at his spa, and then she was poached by Jiz and Little E, and then you guys know the rest of it. But Virginia had filed at least one, if not multiple, lawsuits against DJT, saying that he did the things to her that Little E and all these others did to her that she wrote about in the book. But they had a settlement. She had agreed to leave his name out of everything in exchange for money, which is also what happened with Alan Dershowitz. So she had filed lawsuits against both of them, claiming that they had raped her when she was underage. So that would have been during the time that Melania was being courted by her prince, that he's out there having sex with kids. So yeah, I said it there. Ha! I'm just so sick of having to sugarcoat everything. AI is a scam. Oh, let's see. I missed a bunch of stuff. Chat GPT gaslights me all the time about Charlie Kirk. I know. So a lot of times when I ask AI a question, it first like goes to like a general AI. It goes to the all, and then when I switch it over to just AI mode, those two answers usually contradict each other. Like, I'm not even joking. And so you have to know what it is you're looking for, and then you have to know how to like dig deeper or ask the question in different ways, because the people that program the AI are the same people who are trying to cover it all up, because they're in the freaking files, like Big E and Z and the rest of them, Peter Thiel and all those maniacs. And yeah, AI is a scam. Yeah, and it looks like it's coming out that it's a scam. We've never really talked about that kid, that 26-year-old kid that worked for OpenAI, who was found in his San Francisco apartment like last November. So I think it was like a year and a half ago. And he had quit working for OpenAI. He was a genius with this stuff. And he quit because of their unethical practices. And then he was a whistleblower, and he was in the middle of, I think, depositions, just like happens with so many Boeing employees when they're in the middle of their whistleblowing and being deposed. They go out to their car and unalive themselves in their car in the middle of the deposition on a freaking break. Happens all the freaking time. I guess you should just call it bad luck. Melania was born in April. Thanks, Annabees. You said March. I know. Once I cross my wires, it's so hard to uncross them. It's like they're fused. But that's one that I've caught myself on so many times. So I just have to speak slower. So, where to begin? I already put the link in the description to an amazing video that was made yesterday. It was uploaded today by this little channel called While We Still Can podcast. And I've spoken with you guys about it before. I absolutely love this channel. I adore these two that were doing it today. Today's video was just Tony and Tina. Lisa is the other mainstay. So it's usually the three of them, Tony, Tina, and Lisa. And Tony, like none of them are even up to my speed, I don't think, with computer technology, even though they're, I think, a little younger than me. They just don't do tech. But Tony is like a whiz on the TikTok. And he works closely with Becca Day. And he's the one who has established a friendship with Amanda Ungaro. And then Amanda Ungaro did an impromptu interview on their channel, but just over the phone through Tony. That was definitely authentic, in my opinion. And then today was her second interview with Zev Shalev. And she said that she has been contacted by all the mainstream media outlets like Fox, CNN. She listed all of them, I think MSNBC, and that they're all trying to interview her. And I was so excited to see her interviewed again. So, like I said, I linked up that video in the description, and yeah. I think it was Tina on that video today who said that when she's talking to people and they say to her, I don't do politics, she says to them, well, it's doing you. So you might want to start thinking about it. I thought that was brilliant, because ain't that the truth? So I want to say Mitch McConnell, I was going to read some of his statement because it's ridiculous. And then lo and behold, out of the blue, Lindsey Graham passes away. But Lindsey Graham had just gotten off of an airplane visiting Ukraine, doing some peaceful meetings with Zelensky, and then maybe upsetting, or definitely upsetting, Putin. And then he gets off the plane. He talks to DJT on the phone, says he's tired, and then he passes away. Heart attack is what they say, or ruptured embolism, kind of something. Ruptured aorta. I can't speak. Anyway, I looked it up, and the poison that was basically invented by the Russians to take care of their foes is, I believe it's spelled Novic, HOK, Novichok, something like that. And it's really fast acting. So if you consume it or if it gets injected into you, it is like minutes or maybe less and you're gone. But if it's on your skin and if it's in powder form, it can take hours or even days to take effect. So what it does is it makes you have a heart attack, basically. So you can look that up too if you're interested. It seems just a little convenient. And we know Lindsay drank a lot. He was 71, but I mean he seemed pretty healthy other than the drinking a lot. Not to say that it's impossible that it was au natural and that there's nothing suspicious about it. But why did CASHAPP Patel come out and say that he's dedicating every resource possible to investigate the nature of what took his good friend Lindsay out? So yeah, Mitch McConnell's statement was way too long. Way too long. But then that statement was released basically hours after Lindsey Graham passed away. And I think probably all of us, as soon as we heard about Lindsey Graham, we were thinking that it was Mitch McConnell because they look alike. They're both jerks. They've really effed up our country, in my opinion. And they're both state senators. So Lindsey Graham is being replaced by his sister, and Mitch McConnell is fine. So they're not going to have to replace him. He's going to run again. Anyway, he's not fine. He's brain dead, in my opinion, and in many people's opinions, I think. And there's so much evidence of that. I mean, just the 911 tapes. The 911 tapes from Lindsey Graham will be interesting too. I almost ordered them up, but I'm sure they're probably already ordered up by so many people. Which isn't to say that I can't do it too, but Mitch McConnell's statement. Mitch McConnell's statement released yesterday. Let's see. Is this link going to take me right to it? I don't know if it will. Yeah, it looks like it did. Mitch McConnell, 84, said in a statement that he was briefly unconscious around the time he was first taken to the hospital and has undergone a battery of tests to try to determine what led to his fall. He said that he was also treated for mild pneumonia and has been moved to the rehabilitation facility. So that's kind of paraphrasing. My doctor, but this is in quotes, my doctors have confirmed that I didn't break any bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tremors or hemorrhages, McConnell said, adding that he is now regaining my strength. Why would he be telling us all the things that he didn't have? McConnell's statement came on the heels of the unexpected passing of Mitch McConnell. So one of my mods just sent me a text to read to you guys what Snopes said about Mitch McConnell. And I think I had already looked it up, but yeah, it didn't work. I'm letting them know. It did not work when you texted it. Okay, but I can look it up. Snopes. Let's see. I hate Snopes. in my opinion, Snopes is a crock, but let's see what they say about this, because I trust my mod. Snopes, Mitch McConnell. Is the Mitch McConnell photo real? There's no evidence of AI, despite claims. Is this what you wanted me to read? Because there's so much evidence of AI. Let's see. Yeah. So my you can't be in the chat. You're just like texting me. It has an AI watermark. So yeah, Snopes officially confirmed that the viral picture of Senator Mitch McConnell in the hospital bed is a fake. I knew that as soon as I looked at it, but I watched a couple of videos of experts breaking it down, and yeah, it's faker than F. The platform debunked the image by highlighting several key factors: AI watermarking, forensic analysis. One of these people that I watched their video, they just said, "Hey, Grok, is this picture AI?" And Grok said, "Yeah, it's AI. It's everything about it is AI." Forensic analysis of the file revealed an embedded digital synth ID watermark. This invisible signature is automatically applied to images generated through OpenAI tools to track fabricated content. Visual inconsistencies. Snopes pointed out clear visual errors common in AI generations, notably that the medical tubes coming out of the man's mouth were completely disconnected. Oh, that's something else. Anyway, yeah. That's funny because the thing that I looked up on Snopes had a completely different answer, but I just don't trust them. Even when they agree with what I'm thinking, I still don't trust them, because the people that run them are, again, not trustworthy people. So, there were recently, just like a week ago, when Lindsay Graham was standing in the doorway on Air Force One with Trump on one side of him, and who was hovering over his shoulder. Give me a second. Another gray-haired guy who was really staring him down. I know I have it in my screenshots, but now I'm drawing a blank. And did I delete those screenshots? Or I think I cropped them. I could uncrop them. But the way that he was smiling, like so giddy about the war, and he was talking about going boots on the ground and sending our soldiers over there to fight in the trenches. And he was just like a little kid on Christmas morning. Like, it was almost manic. And it looks like it even made the President Ponscom uncomfortable. But then the other person that was standing there with them, let me see if I have it on my screen here, my screenshots, because it's just bugging me. Oh, yeah, it was Howard Lutnick. It was Howard Lutnick was on the other side of him. And Lutnick was giving him the stink eye. And like, who the F is Howard Lutnick anyways? I mean, he's just like some billionaire freak that lived next door to little E and lied his face off, saying that he didn't know him and that he thought he was a creep and that he never hung out with him. And it turns out that they were like besties and that they were in business together and they did all kinds of interactions, and that he took his kids there. He took his nannies to the freakish island, the freak off island. It's a good name for it. And yeah, Jeffrey needed a nanny. Apparently, there's some information about that in those e-files. Anyway, he definitely wouldn't look like he did in the pic they released. Right. No, he looks so chipper. He looks like a spring chicken in that picture that they released. But yeah, I was still annoyed that I couldn't find his actual stupid statement that they changed. Like, they took down one statement and released another one because they must have realized how absurd it was. The actual statement released from Mitch McConnell yesterday. Will it give me the actual statement? It just talks about the statement. It's so annoying. It gives key excerpts. I want the entire thing. I want the entire statement verbatim. AI's like, oh, I'll do what I want. I don't think you need that. Let's see if it's giving it to me now. Is this it? This is it. Statement from Senator Mitch McConnell. To my fellow Kentuckians, when you elected me, this is just way too effing wordy. It way over explains, which is always indicative of guilt, in my opinion. When you elected me to a 7th term and made me our Commonwealth's longest serving senator, you did so trusting that I'd keep showing up to fight for you every day. And over the past several weeks, Elaine and I have appreciated both your well wishes and your honest questions about what was keeping me away from the Senate. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older. Even in the public eye, I feel that same instinct. I can't help it. But when you're in the public eye, it's your duty to share. So screw you. Anyway. But at the same time, I've had more than my share of experience with physical vulnerabilities. Surviving childhood polio meant spending my entire life with mobility challenges. Why in the F would he be talking about this yesterday? It's like he wrote a term paper. It's ridiculous. They haven't exactly gotten easier to manage with age. And last month, I took a fall which landed me in the hospital. My doctors have confirmed that I didn't break my bones or suffer concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tremors or hemorrhages, but I was briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital. While receiving excellent care over the past several weeks, I've also had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia. And we all have seen the videos of him getting carried on the stretcher in not a hurry out of his home and it looking like it was already a done deal. Like, they're just not moving the way EMTs and medics move when there's a life-threatening emergency. And when you do CPR, when you do chest compressions on an 84-year-old man, you're gonna break his freaking chest bones. It's pretty much guaranteed. So that didn't happen either, according to this bull crap. As much as it frustrates me, this process takes time, and on the advice of my doctors, I won't be able to return to the Senate floor to vote quite yet. Not until after August 3rd, I'm sure. But rest assured that in the meantime, I'm not taking a break from the Senate business that matters to you. I've been working closely with my legislative staff on current issues and with my Kentucky team who helped me provide timely constituent services across our Commonwealth. I've also been keeping in touch with my Senate colleagues on the appropriations process, midterm politics, and everything in between. This is such utter bullshit. Let's see. He definitely wouldn't look like that. Howard Lutnick is a creep, isn't he? And he's a billionaire creep. And he's just, yeah, it's just like, why is he even around? Like, what's his skill set? Just being a freak? I think that is his skill set. Let's see. Your right to expect your representatives to work hard for you. Does this not smack of the stuff written by both the alleged assassin wannabe from the DC, the dinner party a couple of months ago, that guy, and Charlie Kirk's guy? They just all sound like they're written by the same person, like Kash Patel. Okay. You're right to expect your representatives to work hard for you. And part of my decision to retire at the end of my term this coming January was being honest about the demands of Senate work. But I still have unfinished business to complete on your behalf, and I have every intention of finishing the job you elected me to do. Yeah, I made a joke earlier that he's going to be running again for office, but this is about as absurd as that. I'll keep working hard to get back on the Senate floor as soon as possible, and I'll keep you posted on the progress of my recovery. Until then, I'm so grateful for your prayers and well wishes. Until then, you won't hear from me. That is just ridiculous. You know, this is looking to me like more than a page, or let's just say about a page typed text, like a full page, like if you're on typewriter paper. If you were hospitalized and you were releasing your first statement, wouldn't it be just more like a handful of sentences like, thank you for thinking of me. That was a close call. I'm working on getting back to work. Blah, blah, blah. But no. You all know folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older, even in the public eye. I feel that same instinct. I can't help it. But at the same time, I've had more than my fair share of experience with physical vulnerability, surviving childhood polio. Like, why the F would you be bringing that up? Like, he's just trying to get or the people who wrote it are trying to get people to sympathize with him and like cut him a break. Like, oh, the poor guy's had polio. We better not ask questions, right? That'd be mean. That'd be disrespectful. Yes, it's way too long. Thanks, Anna. Thanks for backing me up on that. So let me see. I knew this was going to be really confusing for me with so many notes from so many days and so much that I want to share. Amanda Ungaro said so many important things in that interview with Zev Shalev. I was going to try to play part of it for you, but maybe I'll just try to recap it. Like, in general, she spoke a great deal about the just all the corruption, just all the flat out corruption. As far as Paolo Zampoli being a delegate for our country, if you've heard the man speak, he kind of talks like Fred Flintstone. Like, he sounds even dumber than Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, Jeffrey Epstein doesn't sound that dumb. He just kind of sounds like a Brooklyn kid, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's funny because he tries to like live this posh life, and like Jiz has her British accent, and so that's all fancy pants. But Paolo Zampoli is just a thug. He's just a criminal. He's just a mobster, basically. And President Ponscom surrounds himself with these mobster types. And he says he likes to surround himself with losers, right? He doesn't want to be surrounded by people that would make him look like the loser that he is. How is he still in office? He says he's going to give a speech this coming Thursday night at 9 p.m. It's like, how does he know he'll be alive Thursday night at 9 p.m.? I mean, he should look around and look at what's going on with his friends, his frenemies. And we know that Iran has really stepped up their threats towards him, towards Mitch McConnell, towards a lot of American politicians. So anyway, he says he's going to be giving this State of the Union address to the nation Thursday night at 9 o'clock. It's just like, you're an old man. Why are you going to wait until so late at night? Like, why not like 7 o'clock? And then you could go to bed at a normal hour instead of staying up all night tweaking on your freaking social media platform. So yeah, the Terramar project is something that Amanda Ungaro talked about again today in her interview with Zev Shalev. So that Terramar project is, again, to recap, it was Ghislaine Maxwell's baby when she was like trying to reinvent herself, and she really thought she was going to entice little E into wanting to marry her. And part of this reinventing of herself was to create this quote unquote nonprofit. And she had some big investors, big investors, and where all those millions of dollars went is anybody's guess. I'm sure into taking care of the ocean. But Nancy Pelosi and her husband were in business with Jiz. And then Jiz did get an actual husband that she was in business with. Remember her secret husband that she was married to at the time of her arrest in 2022? I think they were married for like 4 years. So, she was devastated that, she thought that little E was like the love of her life. I mean, it's sort of like when you do rugs with somebody and then, you try to get your life together and you realize that you need to stay away from the people that you did rugs with. So the people that you abused children with, probably not marrying material. That goes both ways, right? Definitely not a keeper. Okay. Amanda Ungaro spoke about this Phil Ruffin, who is married to Ole Cassandra Nicolaico. She was 27 when they got married. And I think he was 67, because now she's 40 and he's 80. Phil Ruffin and Ole Cassandra Ruffin. The Ruffins are a very prominent couple with Melania and President Ponscom, and I've never heard of them before. So let me just read to you. She said some interesting things about their connections to Melania and her husband. Let's see. Phil Ruffins and Ole Cassandra Ruffins. And it's not Ruffins, it's Ruffin. He's an American businessman. He owns the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino and Circus Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. She was former Miss Ukraine Universe and a model. They married at Mar-a-Lago in 2008. He's a casino mogul. He long-standing business partnership and friendship with DJT, owns Treasure Island and Circus on the Vegas Strip, owns 50% in the Trump International Hotel Las Vegas. Oh, the one that the guy blew up his Cybertruck in front of on New Year's last year. How come we never hear about that? Where the other guy in New Orleans with his white F-150 running into all those people and causing so many casualties. Ruffin's broader business portfolio also includes real estate, oil fields, racetracks, and the world's largest manufacturer of hand trucks. Ole Cassandra was born in Ukraine in 1981, represented her country at Miss World in 2001, Miss Universe in 2004, and then she married Ruffin in 2008. She took an active role in his business, helping design and manage her own spa and salon named after her at Treasure Island. And they have 2 children. So anyway, I'd never heard of them until today when Amanda Ungaro brought them up. So I thought I'd share about that because it sounds like we'll be hearing more about them. I had so many things I wanted to talk to you about, but now my mind is empty. It happens to me all the time, Annabise. But thanks for being here. And yeah, well, this is why I take notes, because I'm always like, I won't need notes. I'll remember this. And then I come on and it's like, if I don't have my notes, I might think of it and I might not. Snorting Addies. What? You were snorting Addies? Funny, they are all from Ukraine or somewhere close. They are always models. I know. It's so weird. So I wanted to talk also about Amanda Ungaro says that she knows Brina Knaus. Brina Knaus, who I highly suspect is Melania's biological daughter. Brina Knaus is right now 41 years old, and Melania is 56 years old. So she would have only been 15 when she gave birth to her, meaning she was probably 14 when she was pregnant with her, if you look at their birth dates and months, because I did that, and I was like, yeah, okay. But unless her boyfriend was a teenager too, the baby in a situation like that, the person that's birthed, is in and of herself the evidence of the crime, which is part of the plot from one of my favorite movies, Zero Effect. There was an essay that produced a baby, and that baby was evidence of the essay that there was no other evidence of. But then the mother who was essayed was then red-rummed when the evidence baby was like a year old. And I think that she was red-rummed because of the essay so that the perp wouldn't get in trouble. But then the perp that rubbed her out raised the baby. So if you haven't seen Zero Effect, you should see it. It's really good. Anyway, in the event that Melania had a baby at 15 with the birthday of Brianna's, because I want to say Brianna's birthday is like October. So Melania already turned 56 and Brianna will be turning 42 in a couple, 4 months, something like that. And yeah, if it were somebody like Paolo or little E that fathered, if Brianna is Melania's, and I mean, they just look so much alike. They have like the same structure of their facial structure. Their hair is the same. Their height is the same. Like they're both like 5'10", 5'11". They're both real lanky. They're both models. Brina was born like half an hour away from where Melania was raised in Slovenia. And Brina's a world famous DJ artist, which it's really hard to get the network connections to become a really famous, worldwide famous DJ artist, especially for chicks. Like most fields, it's dominated by men. So I don't know. I just don't think people talk about it enough and question it enough. But what I was saying is if Paulo or little E were the biological parents or whoever, if they were a full-grown adult, then that they just don't want to even go there. So let's not talk about Brina Knaus, right? If I'm saying her name right. Oh, so much. The soccer thing, man, that was just like days ago. That was like a week ago. I haven't done a video since then. That whole soccer thing was so infuriating. I want to talk about it for a little bit. You know, refs make bad calls, and that's part of any sport, and sucking it up is part of any sport too. Whether you're on the team or you're a viewer, them's the breaks. And the fact that he had to get his grubby little hands in there and make his phone calls, and the guy Infantissimo, who's like the head of FIFA, rents his office space in the Trump Tower in New York City. So, his landlord calls him and says, hey, can you reverse that red card or whatever? And he's like, yeah, boss, I'm on it. It's my opinion that had that red card not been reversed, that our team would have played a lot better. And who knows, maybe won. But it's my opinion that all of the players were just mind effed. And, they were probably happy that their player was going to be able to play, but then they were probably kind of, I don't know, looking forward to rising to the occasion of the challenge of playing without him. But I watched the entire game. It almost looked, and I know Anna Bees did too, it almost looked like they were losing on purpose, didn't it? I mean, it was like that third goal that it was just, the ball was just like rolling by everybody, and they're like, huh? What? I mean, of course I'm exaggerating, but it was bad. It was really bad. And it was humiliating. And the star player, I mean, he's not the star player. He's the high scorer, but he's not the overall MVP. But even being the high scorer, not only did he not score, he barely made any plays. I mean, our team only scored one. And I think one of their players scored 2 of their 4 goals. But yeah, it was just awful. It was just awful that call. And I know a lot of people who watch soccer closely and watch the World Cup closely who thought that it was a bad call, that there should have been a yellow card. Personally, I agree with it being a red card. I mean, I'm surprised that he didn't break the guy's leg the way he landed his cleat on the guy's ankle. And when you play sports, which obviously President Ponscom has never really played sports. I mean, maybe back when he was a teenager a little bit, but he's basically a rich, lazy guy. I mean, sure, golf is a sport. Okay. Anyway, when you play full contact sports, right? like full contact sport. Soccer is a full contact sport. Basketball is a full contact sport. You have to maintain control of your body so that you don't break your own ankle or someone else's ankle. And even a non contact sport, like let's say volleyball, you can't just like throw yourself in the court and throw yourself under the net and run into people on your own team. I mean, those things happen, but they're fouls for a reason. And when you're that caliber of a soccer player, you have the ability to know where your feet are landing. I don't care how caught up in the moment you are. I think that our player was playing rough and he didn't care if he hurt the guy. And that I was surprised he didn't hurt his own ankle, honestly. But yeah, I just thought it was horrible that our dear leader found it. He had time to call Infantissimo 4 times about this soccer game, but he didn't have time to go to his son's wedding. And what about the war? How come he couldn't be making phone calls about that? But no. What a freaking idiot. So I honestly think that the Lindsay Graham catastrophe is in part a distraction from the Tyler Robinson pretrial that wrapped up last week. I really do believe that it's a distraction from that. Also a distraction from all of the assassination attempts that are getting discussed much more openly now. It's impossible to keep up with all of the shenanigans. It's so effing crazy. And then, we have real life true crime tragedies going on, like that 18-year-old boy who was found deceased on that island off of Mississippi after partying with his friends. The black kid with all the white friends. And my orthodontist assistant asked me today, because she knows I do true crime, she asked me what I knew about it. And I was like, nothing, basically. And she knew a little bit more about it than me. And, I knew that none of the kids were getting in trouble. And I said, what do you want to bet that their parents are like law enforcement or government officials? And she said, yeah, one's a judge. And I was like, or a judge or a lawyer. Yep, exactly. Black 18-year-old drowned off Mississippi. The name of the island is escaping me. It's right next to Dolphin Island. I know that. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18-year-old black college football player, Horn Island on July 6th, following a 4th of July weekend boat excursion. So apparently, I'm so glad that his case is getting a lot of attention because it's Mississippi. He's a black kid. He was surrounded by all these white people. It's Mississippi. It's like the oldest freaking Mississippi tragedy in the world. And no, you can't just whitewash it. And Don Lemon was talking about it today. He's got quite a reach with his audience. I think Tyler Perry is getting involved. He's an entertainer, for anyone who doesn't know him, a black entertainer. And other high profile people are getting themselves involved. And even Midas Touch has covered it. And I just think it needs to be talked about, that these people need to be scrutinized. Their friend is deceased. They literally left him for dead on the island and came back without him. And his parents deserve the truth. I don't know if he has siblings. His mom's adorable. She looks like she's Asian, but I'm not sure. And she's real little, real petite, beautiful woman. He was a beautiful kid. So Nolan apparently had the hots for some chick that day on the 4th of July, and they were hooking up on the island. So I don't know if that could have had anything to do with this situation. Like maybe an ex-boyfriend knew that they were going out there. I don't know. But it definitely rings of Natalie Holloway, which, Alabama is right next to Mississippi. So this, what was it called? Horn Island? Yeah, Horn Island is really close to Alabama. Dolphin Island is Alabama, and it's just like one island away, one little sandbar island away. Natalie Holloway was from Alabama. Was she from Mobile, Alabama? I think she was from Mobile, Alabama, but I know she was from Alabama. That was part of that whole story. That was one of the songs that they were playing at that bar. Carlos and Charlie's, I think, was the name of the bar that she was hanging out at with Joran van der Sloot and the Palco brothers. And then, it seems like they slipped her a roofie. They got her into their car, and that was the last anyone ever saw of her. And, I mean, still to this day, nobody really knows if she's dead or alive. There was a lot of weird stuff with that case, a lot of weird stuff with Joran. And, she was kind of the perfect package, too, for the way these transporting systems that operate in the sex trade. She was sort of like what they're looking for. And what's interesting, one of the things that's really interesting is that restaurant, Carlos and Charlie's, that exact same restaurant in Aruba that Natalie Holloway disappeared from, it went under because of all the bad publicity around this. But before it went under, there was another person, another young woman that went missing off of a cruise ship. And that exact same restaurant in Aruba was part of that story. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know about the young woman in her 20s, Amy, who disappeared from a family cruise in Caracas in Aruba. Amy Lynn Bradley. So she disappeared March 24th, 1998. She was 23 years old. And there are so many documentaries about her. And this picture, I believe, was taken the night she disappeared. So she was kind of a tomboy. She was definitely like woman identified. And she was looking extra cute that night. And when her brother and her mom and her dad and her were sitting at dinner, and it was like their fancy dinner, so that's why she was wearing the little black strappy dress. And then she had gotten up to go to the restroom, and some of the employees came over to the table and were like, "Where's Amy? Where's Amy?" And the family's like, "Well, she just went to the restroom." And they were like, "Well, we wanted to take her to this restaurant when we get to Aruba, Carlos and Charlie's." So when Amy came back to the table, her family told her about this conversation that they had with the staff, and she was completely creeped out. She was like, "I'm not getting off this yacht or this cruise ship and going with anybody to any freaking bar, restaurant place." And yeah, the thing with her, the reason why I bring her up is because it looks like she is most likely still alive, being transported. So here's another picture of her and her whole family. Let's see if I can unplug my phone so I can show it better. She's in front in the pink shirt. Everybody else is wearing white. And, her hair is real short and she's just like all sporty, very spunky, super spunky would be a great way to describe her. And then there's a picture of a woman that is like being traded online, and that's probably 20 years after the disappearance. So there's a lot of people that believe that that's her. Personally, I believe that that is her, Amy Bradley. But interesting that same freaking restaurant, Carlos and Charlie. So it wasn't until the Amy Bradley case, when I learned about Amy Bradley like a year ago, that I thought, well, does that restaurant have something to do with transporting? And it turns out that it does. And there's like a chain of them, and they're in different, Latin American cities. I think, let me see. I think there's one near Mar-a-Lago, actually, or there was. So they pop up and then they go away. But it's this chain. I wonder who owns it. I bet Epstein owned it. Let me see. Would that be crazy? Oh my goodness, seriously. Let me see. Who owns the Carlos and Charlie's restaurants? Carlos Anderson, founder of Grupo Andersons. He died in a 1990 plane crash. And Charlie is Charles Skipsey, his business partner. Oh, the restaurant, bar, and chain. More than 50 restaurants, making it Mexico's largest restaurateur. They also own Senior Frogs chain, along with other similarly branded like Carlos O'Brien's and El Squid Row. They averaged 3.6 million in 2005, and then they grew to over 100 million in 2006. Headquartered in Cancun. That's what I was trying to think of. What was the restaurant that George Floyd worked at on Tuesday nights? El Nuevo Rodeo, where Derek Chauvin and George Floyd worked together, where they knew each other from because they were both supervisors of security. Derek Chauvin was the supervisor of the outdoor security, and George Floyd was the supervisor of the indoor security. A lot of people don't know that. Anyway, El Nuevo Rodeo, I wonder who owned that. Let's see. Who owned El Nuevo Rodeo in Minneapolis? And also, that restaurant was in trouble for making funny money, Play-Doh. And that funny money, Play-Doh, was the whole thing that they alleged that they called the cops on George Floyd for, using what they alleged was a counterfeit $20 bill, which I don't think it was ever taken into evidence. So I'm going to doubt that that was for real. And that club operated for roughly 2 decades, and then it went under shortly after the George Floyd incident. But yeah, that whole thing with that they didn't know each other, and then the whole thing with the counterfeit, absolute bullcrap. Anyway, So restaurants are one of the main businesses, like real estate, that are really good money laundering businesses because you're dealing with a lot of cash, and you can say that you made $2 million in a month rather than $100,000 that you actually made in a month, so that you can legitimize the money that you're raking in for selling illegal things that you're transporting, right? Ah, that case is so sad. It's so wrong. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of rambling now from one topic to the next. It all ties together, doesn't it? Damn it. I wish it didn't. Why does all the wonky crap have to? It all gets tied right back down to evil freaks, basically. Um, she looks a lot like Melania. They have the same name. And in beauty pageants, I don't think Melania was ever in beauty pageants, actually. I don't think so. Maybe she was. But, they called her a supermodel because she won like the look of the year or something. I don't know. She was her husband's first model that he managed. He had a modeling agency called Model T, I think was the name of it. And she was his first model that he represented. And I want to say only, but I could be wrong on that. Anyway, she won some kind of look of the year kind of thing. And then so they tried to sell her off as a supermodel, but I don't even think she did that much modeling. She was an escort. She was a call girl. She was in a catalog, and allegedly. And that's how Jeffrey found her. He liked the way she looked. He ordered her up and passed her to his friend, allegedly. But then it's funny because Melania says that they met at a party by chance, and Paolo Zampoli says that he introduced Melania to her husband because he's trying to like do them a favor because he works for them and he wants to stay in their good graces. He's very reliant on them. And why does her story not match with his story? When she did that whole thing, when she came out and said, me no have sex with Jeffrey Epstein, one of the things she said that really hit me today, recounting it in that Zev Shalev interview with Amanda Ungaro, was that she said she never witnessed anything, that she's not a witness. And I thought, that's funny. She never witnessed anything. Would she have eyes closed all the time? It's sort of like to jump over to the Idaho 4 case with the two witnesses that didn't see anything that weren't witnesses, right? The two people in the house that saw things and heard things, but they weren't witnesses. So Melania didn't witness anything ever. She's just never had her eyes opened. Oh, that's nuts. But that was the intent of her coming out and making that proclamation, was because Amanda had been threatening her because of what Amanda had been going through, and that Melania wasn't doing anything to help out when they were like old family friends. Amanda had known her for like 15 or 20 years, and Melania invited Amanda and her son and Paolo to like Christmas and I don't know, Easter, but like any special event, they were always invited by the Model T family. And then Amanda gets put into ICE detention for 3 months. And, it's easy to think like, oh, ICE detention for 3 months, that's not so bad. She's out. She's back home in Brazil. But her son, she's been separated from for a very long time because of the arrest, because of the ICE detention, because of being deported to Brazil. And 3 months is a long time to be in a facility like that. Like, I can't imagine being in a facility like that for a day. I've been in a facility like that as a mental health professional to do psychiatric evaluations on people that were considered at risk of being a danger to themselves or others due to a mental disorder. And those places suck. Like, going into prisons for that too is awful. Just being in one of those places for a few hours like scars you for life. So to be in one for 90 days and to not know if and when you're going to get out. And when she got out, when Amanda came out of ICE, she was covered with lice and ice, right? Lice from ice. It's absolutely disgusting. But she was raging because Paulo was able to use and abuse his power and his connection to Melania and President Ponscom to hurt her just because he wanted to. I mean, she talks about it more in the interview with Zev Shalev today. Like, he straight out asks her why she thinks Paulo did that stuff to her. And she said that he was obsessed with her, and that when he found out that she married someone, he went crazy and was trying to intervene. So that makes sense. That checks out. But yeah, Amanda's just getting started, like, with her interviews. And I'm going to put a link in the description to this video of the podcast, While We Still Can podcast, that had that great interaction yesterday with Tina and Tony. And I thought it was interesting because they brought up Victoria Drake. Remember who Victoria Drake is? She's a woman who says that Paulo Zampoli assaulted her multiple times in a night and rugged her and kept her in this dungeon that was like in the like embassy type of place that he lives in New York, that's paid for by our taxpayer dollars. But he's got like sex dungeons in it. And I thought it was interesting that they brought her up in their video from yesterday, and that it sounded like they didn't really trust this Victoria Drake so much. Because, when Victoria Drake and Amanda Ungaro came on to the radar a few months ago, both of their stories were very compelling, and they've made friends. So I thought it was interesting that the podcasters of While We Still Can just weren't feeling it for Victoria. And I don't think it's that they didn't believe her, but they thought that there was something that didn't sit right with them about her. And I really respect their judgment. So I'm curious what that's about. Because, like even those podcasters and even Zev Shalev, like, we've all got to scrutinize everybody and be skeptical of everybody, because we don't know who's AI and who's bullshit and who's a plant and who's a Russian spy, right? Annabise, I'm getting suspicious of you, my dear. Oh, yes, something happened with the U.S. team. All the steam was let out. He needs to stay away from sports. That case is so sad. It's so wrong. Wasn't he married? Who he? I'm sorry. That was from 2 minutes ago. Was that Paulo Zampoli? Are you still there to tell me who he? Wasn't he married? Because I don't think Paulo's ever been married. Amanda and him weren't married, but they were together for like 20 years. But she says it was a very toxic relationship and that he was very controlling. And basically, like, because she was Brazilian and brought into the country by him, he didn't give her access to her passport. And he like tricked her into being like a diplomat, which then eliminated her from being able to get a visa or something like that. I don't know. It was interesting. I definitely recommend watching that's in the Zev Shalev video. Zampoli. Yeah, I don't think Zampoli ever got married. Let me see. Maybe he's married now. Was Paolo Zampoli ever married? Never been legally married. Long-term relationship with Manda for 2 decades, and they have a son together. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. She is such a knockout still. And he, you know, he was attractive when he was younger, but man, he's just so decrepit and skeezy. Like all these old guys with their young chicks, it gets really old. Like Caroline with KKK and her old man. You know, and love is timeless. I mean, I'm a firm believer, but it's like you got to take into account that, you know, our bodies break down as we get older. And if you are with someone that's a lot younger or a lot older, it's going to have its challenges. And some of those challenges are just cultural, like the types of movies and music that you relate to. And, you know, kind of like speaking the same language from the same decade and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's such a trend with these rich mofos to just want these young, hot wives that then they cheat on all the time. Like Zampoli cheated on her all the freaking time. And that's like, I mean, look at President Ponscum cheating on all of his wives all the time. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. These people are just like not people. So let me see if there's anything else we need to put in this video before we wrap up. Annabees, thanks so much for hanging in there. I know I've missed you. I've missed all of my chat friends. I can't believe I went like, I think it was like 9 days without a video because I think it was the 4th. And I almost want to just like cross the finish line another week until these dumb things are off. But I could talk well tonight, but it is starting to hurt. Such a pain in the butt. But only one more week of complaining, and then I'm done. Then I have like nothing on for a week, and then they put the retainer on a week later, and then I can complain about the retainer. Oh my goodness. Political drama. So much political drama. You know, my whole thing with pulling politics into my true crime channel was that the politics are criminal, and so many of these crimes are political. It's just awful, you know, and people like not wanting to say true things about Mitch, or not Mitch, the other guy, Lindsey Graham. Like, I mean, he was a pig. He was a jerk, and he was drunk a lot, and he was dumb. He was spineless, and he hurt a lot of people, especially the LGBTQ people in his state of South Carolina. But I mean, he was really toxic for the whole freaking world. And he did do some good things, of course, but I just, a lot of times I do think it's good to not speak ill of the dead, but I mean, he was a warmonger. And I don't think it's just because my son is active duty in the Navy right now, and was wanting to put our military boots on the ground over there. I don't think it's just that. I mean, that might have something to do with it, of course. But he was just a really horrible person, and I don't think that we need to sugarcoat that. I think it's okay to be honest about it. And same with Mitch McConnell, you know. they're so much alike. So I think a lot of people don't even realize that they're two different people. And for most of us, and myself included, my first knee-jerk reaction when I heard about it late at night on Saturday night was, oh, Mitch is gone. And then it was like, wait, Lindsay's 71? Because I was like, Mitch is 84. He's not 71. What are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, this is the other guy. My husband was 8 years older than me. He needed a hip replacement, and I wanted to go do stuff, but he never did. Now I understand with my knee needing a knee replacement. Oh, my dear. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little bit older than my husband, like about, I think, 18 months, something like that, 17 months. So we're pretty much of the same generation. You know, we refer to the same cultural icons and stuff. And probably you and your husband did too. 8 years isn't that big of a difference. But like you said, he had to deal with a hip replacement. And then, so you're needing the knee replacement. And those are harder to recover from, aren't they, than hip replacements? Because our knees are so damn vulnerable, hanging out there in the wind. Our hips are nice and protected by our what do they call it? The girdle, by the hip girdle. Yeah. Yeah. I dated, like, my first, I don't like to say first love, first really unhealthy relationship long term. He was a lot older than me. I mean, it was only 4 years, but we were at the ages that it was a big difference because I was 16 and he was 20. So by the time I was 20, if I knew somebody my age that was dating a 16-year-old, I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? You know? But yeah, especially as we get older, it's much less of an issue. But yeah, technically, him being 20 and me being 16 in the state of Ohio, not legal. But nobody's going to do anything about it when it's like 4 years is kind of the cutoff, I think, with underage and overage kind of thing. He was a creep, and we were together for like 5 years. So by the time I was 21, I figured out that he was a creep. Took me long enough. Yes, knees are harder to get over. Yeah. Well, and with your eye, I was going to ask if you have like arthritis or something, because I know some of the medications for arthritis can cause issues with eyes. And you're not old, dear. You're a young spring chicken like me. Isn't it crazy? The years adding up, and it's like, you know, people in their 80s, it's like, yeah, that's getting up there. But, you know, I'm going to be 59 next month. Yeah, next month. In less than a month. Oh, crap. I'm 59 in less than a month. That's nuts. How could that be? So I'm only like 25 years behind Mitch McConnell. Wow. Or 12 years behind Lindsey Graham. There was a big difference between us because of the age gap. Yeah. Well, how old were you when you got together? Were you like 20 and 28? Because, I mean, 20 and 28 is not that big of a difference. But if you say so, then I trust your intuition about it. But maybe he was just a curmudgeon and you were more sprightly, right? That's probably what it was. I don't know. So yeah, my dear, I think we should wrap up. I think I should quit trying to look at my notes because me brain is starting to deteriorate. Trucker John is here. I'm not going nowhere. Oh man, thank you so much for coming in. That is the coolest. Anna Bees meet Trucker John. Trucker John meet Anna Bees. You guys will like each other very much. No, I've had eye problems all my life. Oh, bummer. Lindsay Graham was only like 6 years older than me. Yikes. Man, you are the coolest. Thank you so much for dropping into my chat, Trucker John. And are you in Vegas? Is that what I discern from watching your show? I really like your show. I like your style. I've been lurking. Yeah, lurking is very welcome here. But yeah, I like to know who's here too, just because it's fun. I mean, that's why I go live instead of just doing pre-recordeds. I was going to do some pre-recordeds in these last 9 days since I wasn't getting to my lives because of all my tooth pain. I had a thing yesterday. No, Friday. I think it was Thursday last week. I had an appointment and so they fixed what was wrong. And it was like my mouth was so sore and tired for a couple of days. And then it felt better for like a day. And then that one wire broke. So then things were wonky again. But they're not so bad today. So it sucks the energy out of you when your mouth is like that. You know, it just feels like it's like this energy drain. And I think when the pain that you're suffering from is closer to your brain, it's harder to manage too. And I always forget that I could take Tylenol for it. I never do. I just try to not eat and not talk, which is kind of hard, but not that hard. I mean, I get my nourishment with my smoothies and stuff. I've got one over here that I should be drinking. And yeah, so I was going to sign off, Trucker John, but now that you're here, I want to chat more and get your opinion about things. That crap with Mitch McConnell's freaking stunt with that photo, that AI photo, and that ridiculous term paper type of statement. I was going over that earlier. I would imagine that your opinion on those things is maybe similar to my opinion. I mean, right away, I was just like, what the F is this? This is complete bullshit. And especially because it was like the thing about Lindsay Graham had just happened. And so they were like, oh, well, we can't have 2 senators down at once. Mitch is back. It's just like, he ain't coming back, man. And you're just going to have to admit it. So yeah, I spilled my smoothie at the beginning and I'm now finally wiping it all up. But so it isn't that weird. I have an autoimmune disease that attacks my joints. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Anna Bees. Yes, in Vegas, I was 19 and he was 27. So yeah, that's a little bit, you know, I mean, at least you weren't jailbait, Anna. Hey, John. Hey, Anna. I was watching a video that says the photo was not AI, but the statement they provided was AI written. Yeah, I've seen a lot of those videos that say not AI, but I sent Anna Bees a couple of these videos that say the opposite. And let me see. The Onion, that was a funny one, huh? Love the Onion. This guy. So I think the first one I watched about it was this guy who had never heard of. And I don't think it's a long video.
I wanted flowers that would actually last.
I'm going to play a little bit of it. It was really funny. Oh, the video?
Nieuws dat we hier moeten melden.
John.
We hebben Mitch McConnell weer gezien na bijna een maand radiostilte.
It's still doing it to half of my videos that they're in Russian. So I think it's Russian. I don't know if it's a different language, but they switched that one over to Russian. It's so weird. It's intermittent. It's so funny though. Oh.
My name
You're a great show for it. Okay, The Daily Show just posted 36 minutes ago. I think we should end on this because I'm sure it's going to be funny AF. And I always need a good laugh. I forgot to put humor in today's video. So, yeah, I haven't made a video in 9 days, Joan, because of my damn braces. I get them off in a week. And when I got them put on a year ago, I really thought I wasn't going to be able to make videos for the whole year. As soon as I got them on, I was like, oh, man, this is like having a mouthful of razor blades. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with it. Oh my God, why is that happening to you? Can you change it? I can't change it, but it's intermittent. And I can watch the videos that it does it on. I can watch them on my television without it doing that. And let me see if the other one I sent you is like that. Because, yeah, this guy, I just want to get his name because I was new to his channel. I didn't sub up. Dave Neal Comedian. But I'm going to go ahead and sub up, and I'm going to put that video in the link in my description. And then the other one was, it was Keith Edwards, which is one of the channels that sometimes is in English and sometimes is in Russian or whatever language. I don't know. I kind of think it's happening to me because I'm a content creator that talks about this stuff. But let's see.
McConnell, he actually released a picture. Now, that picture's got a lot of problems. I'm going to walk you through all of them. But it's also just making us ask more questions because it's been more than a month since we've heard from Mitch McConnell. The best we can get is one photo and a written statement. And this photo, you're going to see, it's not looking too great. Now, what's really interesting is this came just after the governor of Kentucky asked for more information. By the way, I don't know what happened. Glow up? I don't know. He's looking pretty good.
We might make some news right here, Reverend. Our Republican supermajority has been so worried about me being able to potentially support someone before a special election that they pass now.
So the governor of Kentucky is Democratic, which I found surprising. But anyway, Keith Edwards, not Keith Richards. He does a good video about it, and I'll link that one up in the description. But like I said, let's end with some Jon Stewart because he's just freaking hilarious.
I bet 90% of people don't know about this.
But we don't want that stupid ad. Let's play a couple minutes of this.
It's a great show for you tonight. Later on, we're going to be joined by the unbelievably amazing director, Christopher Nolan's going to be joining us. Christopher Nolan's going to be joining a movie out called The Odyssey, based on the video console from the 1970s. It's all about Pong. But first, obviously, big news from the weekend, the sudden passing of Senator Lindsay Graham of South Carolina. Obviously, I knew him a bit from lobbying down at Capitol Hill, but I didn't know him particularly well. So I'll let Lindsey Graham's best friend memorialize the late senator.
Joining us now by phone is one of his best friends, President Donald Trump. I know you lost one of your closest friends and an ally in the Senate.
I'll summarize. He says, yeah, Lindsay was my bitch.
How are you feeling?
Well, I don't feel great. He was a great guy, and he was a friend. He would call me all the time. He would I'd say, stop calling me, Lindsay.
Stop calling me, Lindsay. Does he sound drunk or on his deathbed or what?
I'll never forget the way that I always let him go to voicemail. It was our thing. Obviously, he's just opening the eulogy on a lighthearted note. I'm sure the poignancy follows.
I love playing golf. Love being outside.
Trucker John says Trump thinks he's funny. He does think he's funny. And this is why he attacks the comedians, not only because they're making fun of him, but because he's freaking jelly AF.
That he was a great striker of the ball. He wasn't exactly a perfect. He wasn't Jack Nicklaus. He was not Tiger. He was totally against me. He said, "I'll get you in South Carolina. I'm going to get you in South Carolina." That didn't work out too well. It was a nasty campaign. He was tough and nasty. I wanted to see the war with Ukraine end very quickly. I think he was more into, keeping it going. Frankly, he was a total workaholic politician. Now, some people don't call that work. Some people call that a lot of talking.
Can you hear him? Like, he is fading fast.
Well, I think the president has zoomed through the first 5 stages of grief.
What is he at the construction phase? Like he got to so quickly with Charlie Kirk. And so, Trucker John, I was just going to let you know that I'm in Ohio, in case you were curious. And I mentioned it in one of your chats. Anybody who hasn't checked out Trucker John's channel, check him out. Because I live near Springfield, Ohio. So Mitch might outlive Trump at this point. Yeah, I mean, they can probably keep him alive with their Frankenstein equipment for, I don't know, 100 years.
And gone straight to number 6, that guy. By the way, it takes a lot of balls for Donald Trump to gently roast someone for yapping too much. He's the one who toasted his friend on Meet the Press, CNN's State of the Union, Fox and Friends. Trump was everywhere, remembering Lindsey Graham, even when the host of the show appeared to not want him to.
These people suffer from a very fine disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, and he was seeing that. And
Mr. President, did you notice?
He was really come a long way on the terminating the filibuster.
Mr. President, did you notice anything different?
They find millions and millions of ballots. It's impossible. And they didn't know in 2 weeks. They let it be known an hour later.
So, Mr. President, did you notice anything different from Lindsay
going to be in the runoff
on the phone?
These elections are very dishonest. And you can...
Unfreaking believable. I mean, it's my opinion that he wouldn't talk over a white man the same way he's talking over a black man. He does that crap with women all the freaking time. But man, what a rude bastard. So let's hear John's response to this, because I'm sure it's going to be good. And then we'll wrap up.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, the TV station is going through a tunnel.
That's a good one.
But of course, even his best friend Donald Trump had to concede that Senator Graham's career did have a back.
So this is my whole house water filtration system from Aquasana.
Screw you, ad. Okay, I'm just going to pause it there. So yeah, I hate to hang up when you guys are here. But it's getting to be 2 hours long, and I'm kind of, I feel like I could just yak all night, but I like to have interesting things to yak about, not be, just goofy. I don't mind being goofy. You got to laugh at yourself, right? It's always good to do that. But yeah, the damn braces are really hurting. So I think I'll wrap up so I can give my, the inside of my mouth a break from that. It recovers pretty quickly, but when I keep talking, it hurts. When's your next live stream? Good question, Trucker John. I like to do them every day because I call it my therapy. It's like group therapy. I'm not sure that I can commit to tomorrow night, but I will try to shoot for tomorrow night. If I can't get my live stream going tomorrow night, I will certainly commit to doing one within the next 48 hours. So I have people that I text when I'm going live because it's so sporadic. So if you want me to text you, I'd be more than happy to. You can send me your number if you want, an email at JusticeAtooZ JusticeAtooZ at gmail.com. And it's weird, but it's JusticeAtooZ at gmail.com, because that was the only one that wasn't taken. Well, I've hit the notification bell, so I'll be on the lookout. Yeah, so a lot of times I will post that I'm doing my video only like 10 minutes before I actually do it, because when I try to schedule them in advance, it just doesn't work out. It's really annoying. So nice to hang out with you all. Thanks for coming into the chat and hanging out with me. And like I said, it'll be really exciting for you to not have to listen to me complaining about my damn braces. I am thrilled. Like, I just can't believe it. Because when I got them put on a year ago, it was in August, they said it was going to be 18 months. And so I'll be coming in at under 12 months because I've been doing everything by the book that they tell me to do. And that's the other thing, is I'm supposed to wear rubber bands, and I don't wear them when I'm talking or eating. So I'll go back to being good with my rubber bands. Good night, everyone. So yeah, when is your next live, Trucker John? I think I saw that you were doing one tomorrow, Tuesday, right? Is that accurate? Yeah, there's just too much crap to talk about right now. So you're probably familiar with Amanda Ungaro. She interviewed on Zev Shalev's channel today. It's called Narrative with Zev Shalev, and I already linked it up in the description of this video. Amanda Ungaro is going to be doing more and more interviews tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's check it out. I will be there or be square. Cool, you guys. I'm going to say good night. Sending you lots of love. Drink your water, eat your protein, or I guess for me, it's like drink your protein, right? See you soon. Love you guys.